In this video, we're going to be making an occlusal layer to open up a patient's existing bite. Often we are presented with a scenario where teeth have been worn down and we need to open the bite, whether it is temporary bonding on the occlusal surface or using a bite splint. Here I'm going to go to the articulator module and we're going to name these models upper and lower. Then we're going to bring in the condyles and their animation. This animation we can constrain. Click Edit the opening of the open bite. We are now able to open and close the jaw. In this video, what we want to do is we want to use the patient's lower existing occlusal surface to open it up. I'm going to set this to 0. Then we're going to select the lower, Shift D to duplicate and enter. This is now called lower.001 and we're going to hide it for now, H to hide. Go to the model designer and we're going to go to the articulation. In the articulation there's something called hook base to hinge. We've rewritten the script to make this work. So we're going to select the upper and then shift left click to select the lower. Make sure the lower one is selected last. It'll appear in orange. Then we're going to hook it. Next we're going to go Alt H to unhide our duplicate. And then we're going to go back to the articulator constraints and edit the constraints. When we are opening the bite, you will see that the occlusal surface is going to stick to the top. This is vitally important because now we can open the jaw with the patient's occlusion. Let us open the jaw at 3 degrees, which equates on the articulator to 6 millimeters. By the way, you can set the jaw any way you like. You can use a protrusive or excursive. For now, we're going to just open the occlusion. Then we're going to set the new location for lower, and this solidifies that. We do not need the articulator anymore, so we're going to delete the condyles and animation. What we do need is the extended lower model. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the model designer and we're going to sculpt this model to smooth it. I'm going to right click, strength a little bit lower, auto smoothing a bit lower. Let's set this to 3. And we're going to give this a bit of a smooth. Go to the insert cutting tool. This becomes the object being cut. And the other object is the object that's making the cut. We call that the insert. We're going to leave the offset at 0.1 and we're going to apply it. I'm going to set this voxel size a little bit less fine. We're going to remesh it and we're going to cut. Now what we are left with is an occlusal surface of the patient's existing teeth. You should be able to print that and even bond it on temporarily so that the patient can get used to the new vertical dimensions. From here, the second part of this video is making a splint layer and then using the occlusal surface. In the second part, we're going to create a splint layer together with the occlusal layer, which we have created in the first part of this video. Go to the block art module. This is our lower model and we're going to offset this model. And then we're going to apply this and voxel remesh this. We're going to go and survey this model, and then from the top, and this depends also whether you're using hard materials or soft materials. Let us create a more retentive model. Good. We're going to go to the splint module. For now, hide the original models. This becomes our target model. We're going to place our cursor and we're going to start drawing the periphery. We're going to clean this and we're going to make a layer. I'm going to make it a little bit thinner than what I usually do because we've got the occlusal surface. Set this to 3, accept. I'm going to voxel remesh that at 0.2 and expose my occlusal surface. Here we are a little bit high. You can quite easily change that by smoothing that down. T, inflate, deflate. If you don't see the tool settings, set it over there. Click the minus sign and just deflate this a little bit, like that. Next, we're going to join these together. H to hide, take this one and this one, Control J, or right click join, or find yourself a join button. There's quite a few in our module. Next, we can see that they are joined, but we need them to be one object. Go to the splint tubes or find yourself a voxel remesh button. They all do the same thing. Let's voxel remesh this one quite fine, something like that, and we're going to apply that. Finally, we need to cut the fitting surface. In the splint cutting tools, this may be called our layer. This one has to be called target model. And then we're going to cut one from the other. And that's basically what I've got left. I've got a splint with the occlusal surface of the patient, and we've opened this by 3 degrees.